Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm joined by Ghislain Briand. Ghislain is actually known for his very deep technical eye. He's got great coaching experience, obviously, and the way he thinks about movement, alignment, and rhythm is really one of a kind. So, in this discussion, I really want to touch on that point. I really want to see what Ghislain sees that others don't necessarily see and that benefits the skaters. So without further ado, Ghislain, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, Ghislain, super simple. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm a little boy that was brought up in Montreal. I was born in Montreal and did figure skating. At one point, I was playing hockey, gymnastic, and figure skating. I was actually Quebec champion in gymnastic, Quebec champion in figure skating.
No way.
And what happened is, it's funny to say why did I go to the figure skating instead of gymnastic? It's because every time, once in a while, my coach in gymnastic was receiving a call from his wife to buy some bread and milk and everything, and he was always saying, "Oh my God, I have no money. I have no money. I have no money." On the other hand, I was always hearing my dad saying that my skating coach was very expensive, oh my God, it's expensive and it's expensive. And she was always in a fur coat, sports car. So I said to myself at one point, I think figure skating coach make more money than gymnastic. And that's where I went to figure skating. And so I did some, I was third at Canada Games at one point, third in Canada at the Canadian Championships. Then I don't come from a family with a lot of money. So what happened is at one point I decided to retire and become a coach. But I didn't want to be a coach first for a long time. I wanted to go back to school. I was really good at school, and I wanted to become a surgeon. And but I said I'm gonna go pay the bills because I didn't want my father pay the last skating bill that we got. And I said, once I do that, I'll go back to school and everything. Well,
Okay.
time said that I didn't go back to school. I start my coaching career in Chandler, Quebec, and in Gaspé. The reason why I went there, my mom and dad are from Port Daniel, dans la baie de Chaleur in Gaspé. So they asked me, well, they need a coach over there. Do you think you can go? Well, sign a contract. You'll work 6 months a year. Then the other 6 months you will be on unemployment, but you'll get the check and everything. So I went there, but right away after the first year, I'm going like, if I want to become more successful in skating, I need to go where they're going to skate 12 months a year.
Else.
So I went from, Chandler to Bonaventure and Bonaventure to Montjoli. And after Montjoli, I was the head coach for the summer program. But I said, no, I need more than this. So I moved back to Montreal and I worked at the National Training Center in Quatre-Glaces-Brassard for about, I will say, 10 to 12 years. Then I received a phone call from Doug Lee at the Mariposa School of Skating at the time it was in Barrie. And he says, I need somebody to help me with the skating. He was my coach when I finished my career as an amateur. And he says, I know that you have a good eye and I need somebody to help me with the skaters. One of the skaters was Elvis Stoiko. Elvis Stoiko became 3-time world champion, 2-time silver medalist at the Olympics. And that's where I think my career really started as I decided that I didn't want to do spins. I didn't want to do footwork. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to do jumps. I love jumping myself. I was a good jumper, I think. And with Elvis, then I'm going like, okay, we have to find a way that he's going to be able to do those triple quad. And at the time, Elvis was the first one doing a quadruple jump, triple jump combo. So I look at I was always admiring biomechanic, like what makes things move and what will make the thing move the right way and everything. through my career, I make a decision of not cheating, meaning I want my skaters to have as much as possible a natural position when they're going to go to do the jump, which means I always ask the kids, look at your feet. Your V of your feet is the opening of your hip. When you're going to move that free leg, it has to be not more than opening of that side, because if you, any action you do will have a body reaction. Then I started like this gradually. Then I realized that, it's, I want to have the body alignment. So that's where I started to do my 3-phase for jumping. Direction, every jump has a direction. Once you initiate that direction, you're going to have a body alignment. Once you have your body alignment, it will be rhythm. Why rhythm and not power? It's very simple. With the years, I realized that I work a lot with guys. Now I work a lot with guys and girls, but I realized that with the boys, they tend to use a lot of power. But when you do a free program with 11 jump, if you use power, with the years, I discovered that the first 3 jump will be fine. But because you're getting tired through the program, you can't use that same power on the 11th jump or the 10th jump. So that's where I realized, I said, okay, rhythm is the magic number. Is that's what I need to do. And so I established direction, body alignment, and rhythm, and that's what I do with everybody. But I try to keep, like for example, when you pick for a jump, your ankle is made to bend a certain way. Well, if you look at all the skaters now to do the quads, they anticipate the rotation prior, because you need to get that energy from the takeoff, because on the way down of the jump, everybody's the same. They're going to do about half a turn because of gravity. So I make a decision as a coach that, do I want fast result, but a very short career for my athlete? Or I want maybe taking a little bit longer, but a long journey for my athlete.
Hey, that resonates a lot, Ghislain. That resonates a lot, because I trained a lot strength and power in my hockey career, and it ended pretty early. And I can see guys too that are getting injured early, and it's really hard to catch up. And I resonate so much with that rhythm part of that equation.
Well, it's because, and once you get injured, it's hard. You can come back. You can get back in shape and everything, but you're still fragile. Every time you're going to do and repeat that thing a few times, it can happen again. So I decided that I'm not going to cheat with the jumps. So when I pick, I want a square pick, but the good ones are doing the same thing. My 2-time Olympic champion, Yuzuru Ranyu from Japan, that's why we worked. We worked to make sure that the foot when he picks is right and everything. And he's 31 years old now. He's a pro for the last 3 or 4 years, but I bet you anything, you go back in amateur and he still will be on the podium because he's healthy, he is fine. But you've seen, because of, we're going in a world now, everything has to be quads, quad. But sometimes the rule allowed you to do between a quarter to half a turn on the ice from the takeoff. Of course, the energy is good to make yourself rotation. But if you start the rotation too early, you're going to sacrifice your height, because all your energy is going for that rotation. So I always say to the skaters, never sacrifice your height because you want to turn. And I mean, with practice, that's what I'm doing the most. And I work with biomechanics. I always explain to the kids, the biggest part of your body, if you use it properly, will get the most impact on whatever jump you're going to do. And I use the hips, I use the arm, the shoulders, and the head, and everything.
I think that's
what I've been doing.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. There's a lot to unpack too, and I have a lot of questions for you. I love that stuff. But when you see a skater what's the first thing you notice? What's the first thing you notice that to you you're like, if we're gonna fix one thing, it's gonna be that one thing? Is it biomechanics? What is it?
There's a few things. First of all, I look at their eyes.
Mm,
You know, I want my skaters in front of me. Look, I'm very fortunate. The last 28 years, I worked with 12 or 12, 15 world champion, 3 Olympic champion, 6 silver medalists, Olympic. Um, so I'm fortunate. So I'm picky. And I really want them to understand that I'm not there to do the job. They need to be hungry. How much they're hungry, it's how much we're going to produce. And the most thing that I say to a kid, sometimes I get hired for one jump. Oh, I want you to coach me
wow.
for triple axel. I want you to. Last year, I had a contract with a Japanese boy. He wanted to do a quad loop, a quadruple loop. When I explained to them, I have a different way of working. I work with body alignment. I want this. I want that. Uh, but I work with physics. You know, you got the centrifugal force that you have to respect. Every jump I build with the axis of rotation, because if you're off axis, well, you're going to pay the price. No matter what you
Mm,
do, at the end, you pay the price. So I make them understand that. But as soon as let's say I'm getting hired for somebody who said, okay, I want to do a triple axel, we're going to do some bases on a single, on a double. Then once I feel he's ready or she's ready, I'm going to say, okay, are we going for triple axel? If there's a moment of hesitation in the answer, we're not doing it. Because I work a lot with psychology. And this is why it's funny that I'm going to say that, but this is why I was so happy to meet Sylvain Guimont. Sylvain was one of my person in my bucket list that I wanted to see in my life. There's
wow.
only 2 people I wanted to see: Sylvain Guimont and Céline Dion. That's it. On my bucket list, Céline Dion, because my wife had cancer in 2008, and she was listening to Céline all through her chemo when she was
Mm,
feeling bad and everything. And now she's fine. Now she's recuperated. She's a survivor.
good.
But I
Wow.
always want, and I train, and I listen to Céline Dion all the time. So this is
That's
one person I
amazing.
need to meet. And when I met Sylvain, it's through a funny story. We can go on that later. But um, I realized that his philosophy of biomechanics, I was doing it, but I didn't know that I was doing it. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
put some dot at the right place, some line at the right place. And I'm going like, Jesus Christ, I'm doing exactly what he's saying. And
And it's
so
crazy. Just like,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. It's absolutely crazy because you talked about balance. I don't know that much about figure skating, but when you talked about rhythm and conserving energy, that's what Sylvain's bread and butter was in creating biotonics. If you can
Hmm.
stand upright, you're conserving energy so that you can do other stuff throughout the day, whether it's skating, whether it's playing hockey like I was, you're conserving energy so you can place that energy towards other important facets of, for example, being a skater. That's amazing.
Yeah. And that's what I do with the skaters. As soon as I ask them a question, if the answer takes time to, we're not doing it. That means you're not ready. Because I said to people, you never lie to yourself. When you say you
Mm,
cannot do it, you're not going to do it.
mm,
And don't try to convince me, and don't try to tell me what I want to hear, because I'll find out very fast. So don't lie, because there's no lie to it. Then that's what I do with the skaters, and it's sometimes it takes 15 minutes. Then you can see, okay, we're not gonna this is not going, or this is going. But most of the time they have to send me a video of their jump. Then I can see who's got talent and who's potential. We can do some stuff, or some, I mean, there's a lot of people dreaming, and that's okay,
mm,
because you know what? That's what it's all about. We need to dream to be able
mhm.
to go forward. So, and that's how I do it.
One of the big statistics I heard growing up as a hockey player was 0.01% will make it to the NHL. And what I kept telling myself is, yeah, but what's the percentage of hockey players that actually quit because they stopped believing? And you'd
Hmm.
be surprised. Like the second you stop believing, you remove all chances of making it anywhere. And I'm sure you see it, especially when you
Of
get
course,
closer to being a world champion. I'm
of
sure
course.
it's even more important. Yeah, believing is was a huge part for me.
And it's funny that you're saying this because as a skater, I thought I was going to go to the Olympics. I thought I was going to go to Worlds and everything. And because I was Quebec champion, what, 10, 11 time.
Hmm.
But when I came to train here in Ontario with Doug Lee at Mariposa School of Skating, there was a guy by the name of Brian Orser who was skating. And when I trained it with Brian, right away I said, oh my God, this is it. I'm never going to go to the Olympics because this guy drunk is better than me sober. So there's no way I can beat that. But I changed my desire of achieving something. See, from I wanted to go to the Olympics to something else like, okay, I want to learn how the
Hmm.
motion does when I'm doing it. Um, and that's where I discovered that, in life, to be successful, there's the 3D. There's the desire. You need to desire something. And once you have the desire, you have the determination of achieving what you need to achieve to get successful. But the third D is, I think, the most important part. And the Japanese, the Asian people are very good at it: discipline.
Hmm.
If you don't have discipline, you'll find a reason for anything that's not going to happen. Oh, it's because I didn't wake up properly. I didn't digest my food. And there's always a reason. So if you have desire, determination, and discipline, you can achieve whatever you want. But a lots of time I said to skaters, the the one that's on the first step of the podium is not always the champion because maybe he skated bad, but because of his reputation, he's got this, he finished first. But the guy who finished maybe 10, who overcome what he normally does, he's the champion. He's the one that did the best, that because he pushed his own limit. And that's what I said to the skaters. I don't care if you're the world champion. I don't care if you're the Olympic champion. I had those already. I want you to be able to push yourself as a coach. I want to push my athlete to as close to the ravine so they balance like this. My job is to make sure that they don't fall off. That means I push too much. But I don't want them to stay comfortable on the top of the mountain because when you're comfortable, you get bored. You don't improve anymore. So I'm pushing them so they feel like this and they feel great when they achieve something. So
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I do.
that's when the growth happens too. People think they're going to get better in their comfort zone. And it feels, looking back on my career, on my pro career, I was always uncomfortable in what I did. It didn't feel good, but that's when you actually get better. So I resonate so much with what you're saying there. It's amazing.
Hmm.
And it actually is, it's a great transition to my other point I wanted to ask you about. Because obviously, if you push too much, even if it's mentally, your chances of injury go way up. So I wanted to
Yes.
ask you this: why do you think injury prevention is so important in your athletes?
If you want to improve, you need to be injury free. You need to be healthy. You need to be rested. You see, I ask my skaters to take their pulse before they get their feet out of the bed.
Mm,
And I always say to them as a joke, I said, I'm 63 years old. When I get out of bed, my pulse is at 49. So
wow.
if you're over 49, that means you're tired. I don't want to know what you've done all night, but that means you're tired. So we're going to have to work on different skill or a skill that you don't own yet, you need to be healthy. And this is why I make and I think I have a reputation that I want healthy skaters. I don't care about a medal. And this is a problem that we're living in North America. Everything is, you need a medal to get funding. If you don't have a medal, you're not getting funding. And there's a lot of good athletes staying home because they have no funding. The thing is, I can tell you the difference with the Japanese. I work a lot in Japan, and the big club where they have all those top skaters is owned by corporations, and the
Okay.
corporation owns the rink, owns the ice, pay for the bills, pay for the coaches. So they only have to go there and train hard. If you're not training hard and you don't have success, of course you're going to get pushed out because there's other people. But they don't have the headache of I need money. I need this. I to do that, I need the funding. So it's something that, but you know what? You win the Stanley Cup with the team you have.
Yeah,
The
that's
one
true.
thing that sometimes I get tired is when people say, "Oh, what the Japanese do compared to us." Who cares what they do? You know what you have to do. If you want to be top three, top in Japan, if you want to be top, you need to do triple combo. If you don't do a triple combo and a triple axel for the boys in junior, they don't send you anywhere. So I said, we know all that. You don't need to know what they're going to do. Now you have to go home and work. The only thing is they work and work.
Yeah,
So
and do you think it has something to do with the culture too nowadays, where repetition is boring, where you can get distracted going on your phone? So sitting at practice and doing the same jump over and over and over again gets boring, and we're not like athletes aren't used to that, whereas the Japanese probably are more than us because they're surrounded by like-minded people in a culture that's anchored in discipline.
I think you're right. Um, and and the way I work too is I make kids understand that your brain works in two mode. One mode it will be a quick reflex. The quick reflex will be no thinking, whatever. It's like if you put your hand on the oven and it's hot, you're
Mm-hmm.
not even gonna touch it and you're
Unconscious.
gonna go, oh my God, it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's no choice.
Mm-hmm.
There's no nothing. It's instant. Or you have coordination with making decision. When you get into that mode, that means your brain gives you a lot of choice to do. But the problem, what I said to the skaters, what you need to understand is your task. Okay, a quad axle, which is the biggest jump, takes 0.82 seconds. From the takeoff, 4.5 rotation, land. 0.82 seconds. For example, there's one man doing it in the world, Ilya Malini from US. My Japanese boy, Yuzuru Hanyu, wanted to land a quad axle. We did a few, we landed in practice, but his quad axle average was 0.81 second. So for 0.01 second, he couldn't land it. Can you
Wow.
imagine? So I said to the kid, the task doesn't get longer because you need to think. This
Yeah.
is why you have to train repetition so it becomes natural. And it's all about expectation. Another example I give the kids, I put a beam at about 5 centimeters from the floor. You do a routine on the beam, you're perfect, it's always on. You can close your eyes and do your routine, your eyes closed. You're still always perfect. I take that beam, I put it 100 feet in the air, no nets. That routine won't be the same anymore. Why? Because you know if you fall, you're dead. So the expectation is not the same thing. So you need to train yourself to be able to do that routine at 100 feet with the same feeling that when it's 5 centimeters from the floor.
So my question, Ghislain, then would be, because it's the same thing with hockey. I can stop every single puck in practice, but when there's 10,000 fans in the stands, am I able to make the save when it counts? So what do you do in practice to try to mimic as much as possible what's going to happen in competition so that they become comfortable? I know repetition's a big part, but is there anything else you do?
Confidence.
Confidence.
You need to trust. You need to trust what you're going to do every day. It's not because you're in front of 20,000 people or just in a practice that it's going to be different. You see, what I said to the kids, the jump has no brain. You're the brain of the jump. So if you start thinking, my coach, Doug Lee from Mariposa, always told me, if you think when you're going to a jump, it's because you doubt. And if you doubt, you're dead. Because the task is so small. The time frame, a double axel is 0.485 seconds. Can you imagine in 0.85 seconds, you have time to decide, okay, my arm is not all right. I'm not spinning on my axis, and I need to get something going because I want to stand up on one foot with a glide backwards. All that in less than half a second. So if you need to train, what I feel sometimes, we give too much perfect time for training for our athlete. They need to be a little bit more, in Canada, if you train with more 20 skaters on the ice, oh my God, it's too busy, too busy. When I go to Japan, there's 40 skaters on the ice.
Find a way.
They're all doing,
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
they're all doing triplets, all of them. And there are 40 on the ice. You get here, oh my God, it's so crowded. There's 15 people on the ice. But the thing is we need to make our skaters or our athlete to think to be a little bit tougher. But it's hard to make it tougher because I remember one time we were training Elvis Stoiko. And Doug said to Elvis, oh, well, in Korea, they train during public skating. Elvis' answer was, yeah, but I don't train in Korea. I train in Canada. And that light up in my head going like, he's right. We're not training over there. We're training here. So we need to get this going. So we're going to beat all of them with what we have. If we're tougher, good. But the thing is like you were saying, what do I do? Yes, repetition. But you see, we train a lot of, in figure skating anyways, we train a lot of athlete with different elements, one element at a time during training. So we're only using quick reflex. If you're doing it, you quick reflex. There's no thinking or whatever. Give them, and I always say to the skater, you think one thing at a time. The brain only think one thing at a time. What do you want to think? Sometimes they're going to say, oh, I want to land the jump. No, you want to land the jump. That's the result. But to get the result, what are you going to do? It's like if I'm looking at my hand, oh my God, I'm bleeding. I put a Band-Aid, but I don't know why I'm bleeding. I need to find out why I'm bleeding. What caused that so it doesn't happen anymore. So I ask a lot of questions to my skaters all the time. Every time they come back, I ask, okay, how did that feel? What do you think you did? How was your shoulder? How's your hips? How's this? How your alignment? How was your range of motion? Range of motion and speed and rhythm is very crucial. But I want them to understand that as soon as you're going to do a program, this is where we have to go on quick reflex too. They have tendency of when they go to a like in a hockey game, you're using both part of your brain. You're using the quick reflex and you're using coordination with making decision. Why? There's an opponent in front of you. Whatever he does, you have to react. So that's the coordination with making decision. But when you're in front of the goalie, you're going to shoot. You're not going to send him a text, say, hey, I'm going to shoot in the top corner. Be ready. You're going to have to be quick. The goalie itself, he's going to have quick reflex because if he goes into coordination with making decision, he's cooked. Because that fraction of a second, when that puck comes at 100 kilometers an hour, you can kiss it goodbye. It's in, right? You make the kids understand you need to do a lot of repetition, but not just in the element. What are you going to show the coach? What are you going to show the judges? Your program? So one program, full run through a day, free program and short program. That's what we do in Japan. That's why the Japanese now are the top country in figure skating. Why? Because they do their program as much as they do repetition for elements. So when they go, and I remember Elvis Stoiko, workaholic, he was doing 10 program a day. Yuzuru Hanyu, my two-time Olympic champion, same thing. I work with Adam Rippon, who was two-time junior world champion, same thing. Shoma Uno from Japan, three-time world champion, four-time silver medalist at the Olympic. Same thing. Always those guys. They train the element, but they train what they're going to show to the judges, and that's how we get the it going to be able to perform.
It's amazing because I have a lot of things on my mind right now. I'm trying to sort through. I have a few questions for you, but like you mentioned confidence, and then you keep repeating repetition, and I think those go hand in hand. I remember I was a kid, I was training, I was putting in repetition after repetition after repetition, and then people ask, how are you confident? Well, I'm confident because I see the progress in those small actions I take every single day. So the principles you're talking about right there is probably applied to every single coach of any sport that exists, which I think is unbelievable. And my next question, somewhat related to this actually, is the U.S. skater you mentioned. By the way, I don't know much about figure skating.
Malini,
yeah. What happened to him at the Olympics?
Well, a lot. A few things. I think they did the same mistake with him as they did with Nathan Chen in 2018 at his first Olympic. In 2018, Nathan Chen was favored to win the Olympics against my Japanese boy. My Japanese boy won the 2014 in Sochi. We went to the 2018 to get a back-to-back gold. What happened is my skater got injured in November. They didn't skate for 3 months. We started to train 6 weeks prior to the Olympics. At one point during the training, my skater goes to me and is crying. I cannot do my quad loop. I said, why you cannot do your quad loop? It's not because you cannot do it. It's because you're trying to beat Nathan. You're trying to beat Javier Fernandez, the Spanish boy. You're trying to beat the other guy. I said, you're not skating for yourself. I said, you have to understand as an athlete or as an individual, you have no control on your opponent. Once they're going to step on the ice, what are you going to do? You're going to throw them something so they trip? No, you have no choice. Whatever they're going to do, you have no power. The power you got is yourself. I said, skate for Yuzuru Anu, and Yuzuru Anu will be amazing because Yuzuru Anu is fantastic when he skates for himself. Right away, bang, the light goes on. He starts to skate. Then after that, he says, should I do my quad loop at the Olympics? I said, whoa. Now we're going to another topic. You want to make me responsible for what you're going to do? I said, that doesn't work. I said, the only thing is, if you do that, if I tell you, I said, I'm going to lose no matter what. And I tell you why. Because if I tell you, do your quad loop, and you're successful, you land it, they're going to say, everybody's going to say, wow, fantastic. Yuzuru was so amazing. He landed his quad loop. If you miss your quad loop, everybody will say, oh my God, what a bad call from Ghislain. He told him to do the quad loop. And so I said, no matter what you're going to do, I'm losing. So I said, take responsibility of your action. I'm there to support you. As a coach, I'm going to guide you to the best of my knowledge at that moment. So what happened to Malini, to get back to that topic, when Nathan Chen went to 2018 Olympic, it was his first Olympic. They have what they call the team event. The team event is every country put a team together and they want to win the gold, the bronze, silver, and bronze. In North America, it's very important to get a medal in that event. Why? Funding. It's a medal. So you get funding. So they always put the best skaters at the team event. But the team event is 1 week before the individual event, which everybody wants to win. And as you probably know, as an athlete, it's hard to peak 2 weeks in a row. You need an athlete that has a lot of experience to be able to range his stuff to be able to perform. So what happened is Nathan Chen did the team event. He missed his quad lutz. First quad lutz he missed in 3 years.
Wow.
So as soon as he missed the quad lutz, everybody said, "Oh my God, he missed the quad lutz!" And but the Olympic is bigger than Worlds. It's big. It's the biggest event because it's hard to explain. You cannot simulate junior Olympics. You can simulate Worlds. You can simulate international competition, but Olympic you can't because it's too big. So what happened? He missed that. It opens the door. He goes in the individual a week later, but by the time he's for 1 week, he's got in his head, "Oh my God, I missed my quad lutz. The first time I missed my quad lutz. I missed my quad lutz." He went to the short program. He missed all 3 jumps.
Wow.
My Japanese boy skated clean, and he got 22 points, I think, ahead of him.
Wow.
After the short program. So I said to myself, well, for my boy not to win, well, he has to skate with his guards on, and otherwise he just has to stand up because I knew my boy was really consistent, and so Malini did the same thing. They did the team event. He was not great on the team event, but the team event, everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, he's keeping it for the single event." Okay,
That's not
but
how it works.
that week, that worked. It goes, the little mouse made that wheel turn all week, okay? Because you didn't skate it the way you wanted.
Yeah.
So it goes like that. Now, another thing, Ilya Malini didn't lose one competition in 3 years. None of them. He won everything. So he went to the Olympic not to lose the gold. Everybody went there to win the gold. Different approach.
Crazy.
And if you look at his face, because I love the body talks. If you look at his face before the free program at US National, his eyes are big. He's got a smile. He's like fantastic looking. If you look at his face at the free program before the Olympic, he's got very close eyes. He's got a face that is very serious. He's in business now. But because it's not working the way it was, it usually works. I think he went to the coordination with making decision. He didn't go in a quick reflex. Right after the second jump, the first jump is easy. He was a quad flip. He does that with a finger up his nose. It's easy. When he went for the quad axel, because everybody's expecting him to do the quad axel, everybody's talking about it. And everybody's filming, taking pictures and everything. He even took pictures with Snoop Dogg before because Snoop Dogg was there. You know, he went and he popped it, but not popped it as a double. He did a single. Right away, that coordination with making decision clicked in, and he was never able to get out of it because at one point after 3 jump, his brain and body was not connected anymore. He was looking for answers that he couldn't find. And he missed everything. From the biggest performance it was supposed to be, I think was one of the worst performance ever.
That's crazy.
And I think that's what he did. And one other thing, he works with one of the coach from California.
Okay.
That coach is never with him in competition. He was there for the Olympics. And I'm very, I'm picky with that. When you have a team and there's too many voices going to your brain, it's very hard to separate everything and digest everything. And that coach is really, it's a big coach. It's Nathan Chan's coach. And I'm sure even if he didn't say anything, just by being there, make him feel uncomfortable. Funny to say, yesterday, it's World Championship right now. It's World Championship right now. He did the short program yesterday. That coach wasn't there. He was fantastic. He didn't miss anything. He was out of it. But now he's back to, okay, I'm there to go and do my best. At the Olympic was totally different. Like I said at the beginning, totally different expectation. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. Like all those things you mentioned make so much sense from the outside. Obviously, I like a lot of people didn't know all those things and they make assumptions to what happened, all that stuff. He choked, but there are usually reasons behind it. But
Oh, yeah.
I think this is amazing because I was going into this wanting to talk about jump mechanics, and we talked about psychology, but I
Yeah.
always say one affects the other so much. What you
And
do,
I love that part.
yeah, yeah. So
I
what you
always,
do
I
off
think
the
my next
ice,
career, I think my next, sorry, I think my next career, I would like to be a sports psychologist. Like I wanted, I like how human being react during,
mm,
when they say, oh, it's stress. Yes, stress is from the inside, not from the outside. Most of athletes, they stress themselves because they want to achieve something. It's
yeah.
not because mommy said that you're gonna land it. It's not that. It can be that, but it's because you're telling yourself. I think stress comes from the inside of yourself. If you can deal with that,
Hey,
it's sky's the limit.
I know a really good sports psychologist. Just like I can
Me
get you
too.
in
Me too.
contact with him.
And me too.
Dr. Guimond, he's so
Yeah.
unbelievable. I worked with him too. I've known him since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
He's been amazing. I worked with him. But no, before we go, last one thing I wanted to ask you is there anything you give your athletes off the ice to do so that when they step on the ice, they're prepared? You touched on biomechanics a little bit.
I want them to reproduce what we're doing on the ice as much as possible. So I want the body alignment when they jump. I
Okay.
want them to work a lot on proprioceptive exercise. I think proprioceptive exercise is like your GPS in your head. When you're going to do a jump, you're going to know where you are in space. Why?
Mm,
Because your brain is used to do that proprioceptive exercise. But the thing is what they do a lot of that in Asia. We don't do that, I think, enough in North America. The thing is, if my study in that regard was right, in proprioceptive, you really achieve everything. You learn a lot between the age of 8, 9 years old to about 15, 16. After 15, 16 years old, you're not gonna learn a lot of proprioceptive, but you can uh, maybe get it a little bit better. But after 18 years old, you cannot you only can maintain what you learn.
mm,
So I think that this is where the Russians are amazing. But in Russia, they do everything very young. Like all their skaters at 12, 13, 14, they do quads. The only problem with it, they do it so early.
they
By
burn out.
16, 17, 18, they're gone. They're
They burn
finished.
out. Mm,
Their hips are gone. Their knees are
mm,
gone. Their head is gone because they're so brained out. So that's why they fought to make, because now in figure skating, you cannot go to Worlds before you're 17 years old.
okay.
They didn't agree with that because all
Yeah.
their best skaters at 15, they were 15. At 17, we don't see them anymore. So it's I think proprioceptive, they're amazing in that. And I think we need to do, and it's very simple. Like when you go like this, with one hand forward, one hand backward, that's proprioceptive. When you touch your head and when you flat your belly at the same time, it's proprioceptive. But you do it for more specific for figure skating or the sports you're going to do. Like if it's a goalie, you need to be quick with your hand and your eyes, you know.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that in every sport you find that what's going to make it very, very efficient. And that's what I ask them. I don't want them to do a lot of weightlifting.
Okay.
I want them to be strong. But weightlifting, I find that doing a lot of weight slow down your fast twitch. And fast twitch is one thing we need. So do you want to be muscle? I don't see Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a quad toe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, but I want them to be strong, but I want them to be quick.
Yeah.
I need quick reflex all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I learned so much just from talking to you, Ghislain, and I appreciate the time you took to sit
And
down
that's
with me,
only the tip of
especially.
the iceberg.
I know. We're gonna need to sit back down together because I have so many. I had a list of questions, and I think I've gone through 5.
And
So
and you know, we didn't really talk about the biomechanic that I really do when I do like a toe jump or an edge jump, or
yeah, I
it's
know,
like
but
that's the stuff I like.
that's yeah, I know, and I love that stuff too. So we'll just have to sit back down together and talk about more stuff. But no, I'm so happy you came on and you took time, especially with the World Championships going on. So that
It's fun.
wraps it up, Ghislain. And I mean, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll keep in touch.
Hey, you're welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.